Oh, hey, what's up? Good day. Happy rising. Enjoy, enjoy. This is Course in Miracles. This is our 39th day in our 2021 calendar year and our 39th lesson in our course. This course, our course in miracles. Of course, that's the course. We're on here all together. Everyone. In this, we are joined. Okay? All right. I invited the groups. Now we'll get started relatively soon here. Your salvation is your holiness is your salvation. My holiness is my salvation. His holiness is his salvation. This is the practice that we're practicing today, the thought that we're practicing today, applied to, you'll see as we read your world, our world together. And let's say a few things here. Course in Miracles doesn't ask us to believe these things. In fact, it tells us we'll probably actively resist it. It says that's okay. And that we will notice the effects of them if we apply them either way, whether we believe it or not. If we actually apply it how it tells us to, it will. We will notice the effects of it. So anyways, also, if you're joining this kind of like, randomly, you don't know much about the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles says all this information is holographic. It does also say some stuff about sequentiality, meaning that there is a building of understanding. So on one level, you can pick up everything from right now, this spot. On another level, it'll make sense. Your life will sequentially make sense in the waking up of your world. Okay, so here we go, everybody. My salvation is my holiness is my salvation. Your holiness is your salvation. Our holiness is our salvation. His holiness is his salvation. Her holiness is her salvation. Their holiness is their salvation. My holiness is my salvation. Okay, there's some cool metaphysics in this one, really cool. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? Like the text for which this workbook was written, the ideas used for the exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. Okay. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical toys. We are dealing only with the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think. We are dealing only with the very obvious. The very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think. Paragraph number 2. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? That was the same question that paragraph 1 started with. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question, but do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs to practice to gain what is already his. Man, there's some subtleties there. I don't know if they're easily apprehendable, but there's some really nice subtleties there. So paragraph number 2 again. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question, but do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is and wouldn't need a workbook at all. No one needs to practice to gain what is already his. Man, it's trying to make it show you how easy it is. How easy it is. How innocent you are, actually. We have already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? We've already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world, but what about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? Today's exercises will apply to you, recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. As you apply the exercises to your world, the whole world stands to benefit. As you apply these exercises to the world, the whole world stands to benefit. Paragraph number 4. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked, is being asked, or will be asked in the future. Your holiness means the end of guilt, and therefore the end of hell. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you to whom your holiness belongs be excluded from it? Your holiness belongs to you. How could you be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be he does not know his son? God doesn't know unholiness. Could it be that he doesn't know his son or his creation? The creator does not know what creator does not know uncreativity. This is kind of a playful way of permutating similar thoughts. Could it be that he does not know his creation? Paragraph number 5. A full 5 minutes is urged for the 4 longer practice periods today, and longer and more frequent practice periods are encouraged. If you want to exceed the minimum requirements, more rather than longer sessions are recommended, although both are suggested. Remember at the beginning it was like, hey, try to do 2. If you can't do 2, back off. It was like super baby gloves. Now it's like saying, hey, a full 5 minutes, 4 times today. And if you want to do longer, you can. And if you want to do more of them, you can. And it says it's better to do more sessions than longer, although both are suggested. Hey, viewers, say hello. I see some viewers are on here. Say hello. Paragraph number 6. Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. My holiness is my salvation. Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. My holiness is my salvation. Then, with closed eyes, search out your unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear. Uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful. And so it is from them you need to be saved. From these unloving thoughts, these attack thoughts, these insecurity thoughts, uneasy thoughts, depression thoughts, anger thoughts, fear thoughts, insecurity, and so on. Paragraph number 7. Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. It is imperative for your salvation that you see them differently, and it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision. Your blessing on these things, on these situations, is the thing that will save you and give you vision. Paragraph number 8. Slowly, we're going to slow down a little bit. Slowly, with conscious selection and without undue emphasis on any one in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your salvation. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way. My unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. So my unloving thoughts about whatever situation, whatever thing, whatever politics, whatever relationship, whatever things like this are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. Paragraph number 9. You may find these practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself slowly a few times. My holiness is my salvation. So you're going to look for specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind. And then you're going to fill in that blank. My unloving thoughts about blank situation, personality, or event are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. And it says you may find the practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea for yourself. My holiness is my salvation. My holiness is my salvation. Probably slowly, usually that's a good idea. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and do not seem to be thinking of anything. This reminds me, later in the text, the Course says, forget everything this world has taught you, yea, everything this Course has taught you, come completely naked and empty-handed unto God. So these thoughts that we're using are kind of like intermediaries between an experience with you and, with cause and effect, or with creator and creation. And then the times that we let go of thoughts completely, it's when we can really make connection. There's nothing between us, between creator and creation. Words are, the Course is a string of words, a whole string of words, which are meant to make them, words are like mediaries, but mediaries are meant to get out of the way in order for the connection to happen eventually. They can't always be there, the mediary. If you got a relational thing with you and your wife, or you and your husband, or you and your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and there's an intermediary there, it's helpful. But then eventually the intermediary needs to go in order for the connection to happen. Words are intermediaries. Okay, last sentence of paragraph 9. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become, second to last sentence anyways. It will become much easier as your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible. Paragraph number 10. Meanwhile, you should feel free to introduce variety to the exercise periods in whatever form appeals to you. Do not, however, change the idea itself as you vary the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea should be stated so that its meaning is the fact that your holiness is your salvation. So you could kind of permutate it, holiness somewhere in Course in Miracles universe. I've heard people say that what that means is indestructible innocence. So my indestructible innocence is my salvation, you could say. These are slight, they're permutations. They basically mean the same thing. End each practice period by repeating the idea in its original form once more and adding is gelt. So you're going to end the practice period by adding the idea in its original form, my holiness is my salvation, and then asking the question. Is guilt hell? What is its opposite? That's how you're going to end it. Paragraph number 11. In the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour or more if possible, you may ask yourself this question, repeat today's idea, and preferably both. And if temptations arise, a particularly helpful form of the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this, whatever that is tempting you to perhaps feel disconnected from yourself, from your source, from your center, from your creator. So I was reminded as we read some of that I don't have the access to the reading anymore. It's not, I can't find the access to the reading while I'm on here. Some of this, if you go back and read what I read, it reminds me of the earlier lesson. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Let me see hold on one second. Let me see if I can see why I'm saying that without getting off of this live stream. Yeah, here we are, back again. Sorry about that, folks. When it says that the practice is that we say, my unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell, my holiness is my salvation. It just reminds me of some earlier, like I said, there is some build. The Course does build. At the beginning I mentioned that there's some sequentiality and it builds on itself. So it's kind of like one thought in the Course in Miracles is like the beginning domino. And if you've practiced many thoughts, one thought will lead to the other, and a whole logical, helpful, reasonable use of reason will take you to your original state, indestructible innocence or holiness, which is your salvation. All right, everybody, thank you for joining in. Have a wonderful practice today. Ciao.